All right, are we ready? Woo. All right, let's get started. Hello, everyone. Welcome to a new episode of Eye to Eye Crypto. I'm your host, Rocco, and together with Finch today, we're going to talk, guess what, about XRP and crypto. Yes, you guessed right. And, all right, XRP fam, what's cooking? The kitchen is hot tonight. Somebody is stirring the soup, the crypto soup. So we got this potential Trump morning policy splash hanging over the market. So a speech is about to be revealed. So who knows what's going to be about it. But we're going to kind of discuss a few points with Finch, come out with a couple of good ideas. Then we're going to talk also about the Ripple Institutional DeFi, stablecoin flow, live compliance, lending, UK-US deal. Who knows, okay? And we're going to kind of connect the dots and talk about all this beautiful as idea. And we're going to kind of, take aside the noise and kind of keep the fact. And where's the time has built all these years and to get to this point in history. So hit like, subscribe to Eye to Eye Crypto, rate the podcast, of course, 5 stars. Scan the QR code that you see on the screen and to get a 15% off from inandoutcrypto.com. And for the people that don't have access to the screen, just go to inandoutcrypto.com and use the code I2AI15, all letter, capital letter, to get you 15% off the entire purchase. Okay. All right, guys. So let's get started here. I will probably go straight forward. Bare Lips, my favorite singer, it's me. I'm a best singer in the entire crypto ecosystem, but I didn't tell anybody. What kind of singer that you're talking about? I don't know. I have no idea yet. Singers, I like to watch X Factor, but let's move on. And the first things I like to show you guys, it's this Brett Garlinghouse just get married. So congratulations. That's the first things I kind of want to touch bases to, because at the end of the day, guys, that's what everybody wants it to be happy. And this is why we're here in crypto, I guess, to pursue some better futures. And congratulations to him. In fact, I use his face on the thumbnail. He looks very happy today. So definitely, again, that's a good way to start the show, right? But before we even start, we didn't introduce Finch. Hey, Finch, you're live. How are you today?
Hey, Rocco. I'm doing
fantastic and ready to roll. Always a blast to jump in and mix things up. Let's get the show on the road and have some fun.
Well, to be sincere, I didn't hear a word you say because, I didn't have my headphone on. But hey, yes, I guess I give you the welcome anyway. So smash the like if you didn't do it already. And let's get straight to the point, okay? So let's start first with a video. This Ben, that's almost Brian Armstrong from the Coinbase. And let's take a listen. There are clues all over the place. And I think if we connect the dots, we can come up with some possible real-time or very short-term scenarios. So let's take a listen.
There's a couple of big tailwinds now, which lead me to think that there's a good chance Bitcoin could be at $1 million per coin, by 2030 or so. And that's the relationship between interest rates and stocks. It can always be complex. Like for a long time, people thought these things were positively correlated, and now I think over time people are starting to think of Bitcoin almost like gold or something. It's something people might flee to in times of uncertainty. So it's a hybrid between those two things. But I try not to get too caught up in the short-term trends. What I try to do is look at the long-term trends. And there's a couple of big tailwinds now, which lead me to think that there's a...
All right, guys, long terms. And that's one of the words, and then I heard this one. And then the other one I want you to really kind of listen carefully is this.
Long-term trends. And
Long term?
there's a couple of big tailwinds now, which
Tailwinds. It rings a bell to you? Has anybody been listening to Brad talking in the past few years? Well, mostly in the last year, since the SEC case was over. They kind of use the same verbiage here, and so it's surprising to you that maybe Brad and Brian talk to each other? What do you guys think? Let me know. Anyway, let's take a listen.
lead me to think that there's a good chance Bitcoin could be at $1 million per coin, by 2030 or so. And that's partly it's the regulatory clarity that's emerging. I mentioned the Genius Act, and now with market structure legislation, hopefully getting close, that could be a major moment. We also saw the United States of America now has a strategic Bitcoin reserve. So if the United States government is going to begin holding Bitcoin, I think that's going to be a massive driver of demand, and the rest of the G20 countries will probably follow suit. And then the last thing I'd say is that we saw recently the launch of the Bitcoin ETFs by a number of different firms, and Coinbase is actually powering 80% of the custody for those that are out there. But we're seeing a ton of institutional money continue to flow into Bitcoin now.
So this is somebody from that comes from the same place where these institutions are investing. Who better than him knows exactly what a scam had? And calling it tailwinds is not just a poor choice of words. It's everybody, when they start to talk. Maybe I am. Who knows, Noah? Maybe I am. So that's funny that when there is the narrative going in one direction, like it was, for instance, if you guys follow the Ethereum conversation, everybody was talking about Ethereum for 2 months. Before that, it was nobody talked about Ethereum for about a year. Ethereum was flat, and then everybody started to talk about Ethereum. Then they're talking about institutional adoption, tailwinds, have more flexible, actually more than flexible, I would say more positive legislation. When all these things that they're gonna get in, all these pieces, they're gonna go in the right place, like a puzzle. Then we're gonna see the result of all these years that we've been watching the crypto market from almost like outsiders, like people know that been told us to be crazy to even be involved with something called crypto. When somebody say crypto to you, they look at you like you're from another planet. Okay, so I like to connect this dot with this video that I showed you just now with another video. Then it kind of connect very well to this one. Okay, and this is another CEO. So that was the CEO of Coinbase, and this is another CEO. This one from Bitwise. They kind of has his own idea too, but guess what? I think the ideology here is converging to the same point. Let's take a listen to this one too.
The big story in crypto is institutional adoption. That's still a trade that is gathering steam. Every statistic I look at says they're still buying Bitcoin, they're still buying ETH, they're still buying Solana. Until the data says otherwise, I'm not going to count this trade out. So I would look at this sort of Bitcoin sell-off, this crypto sell-off we've seen this weekend as an opportunity as we move into October, which is historically the best month of the year for crypto.
I'm going to quote Matt Hogan to Matt Hogan.
It's not just the best for crypto, it's historically also the best month for stocks. So far, everything goes the same way. They kind of complement each other. Also, macro policy, geopolitical, and everything works in the same way. I don't see, not yet, see also the price of Bitcoin to be detached from the U.S. Politics. Eventually, I will say probably 20, 30 years from now, you will gonna see perhaps the idea that is behind crypto that nobody can manipulate markets. So even though if there are, let's say, wars around the world, maybe the main crypto, the one that are more established, they won't suffer because decentralization. So, but let's move on. Let's keep listening.
There are now more than 180 public companies that have added Bitcoin to their balance sheet, according to BitcoinTreasuries.net.
180, that's it. You say, wow, but it's a lot. Yes, it is, but it's not. It's not a lot. I'm telling you, it's nothing. 180 company, they add the Bitcoin to their balance sheet or whatever other reserve, and I'm telling you, when Bitcoin is going to be exhausted, that there's going to be many more following and try to get it into other basket. What other basket we talking about? Basket, they have utility. Like Bitcoin has its own, and it's for, keep their, store of value. There's going to be also diversification in where the money is going to go from this institution, where there is no way for you as a, say, okay, I'm Amazon, I want to buy, I have a Bitcoin reserve and I'm willing to pay $1 million for that. Yeah, okay. Amazon maybe can afford to have a Bitcoin reserve even 2-3 years from now when all the 21 million Bitcoin are exhausted. But let's say you are a small company in $1 million company and you want to adopt also have a crypto reserve, because even if you are a small company, let's say your market cap is only $5 million. You are, I don't know, a small construction company, you're a plumber, somebody that, has a company that, it thrives, but it's not Amazon, okay? It's not $1 billion company. And you want to establish your crypto reserve. They're going to go and try to buy other stuff that's cheaper and more affordable. That also makes sense. This is why they're going to go into XRP, Solana, Ethereum, Ondo, Avalanche, and for sure, I forget some other very good project that they're going to stick around, they're going to be there, and they're going to be still affordable in the future. While, price like Bitcoin for somebody that works in just a regular job, even now, afford one Bitcoin is, even if it's down, is $100,000. Who has that? I'd like to give a quick shout out to the people on the chat. Bear Lips, Noah, Nick Johnson, welcome back. Abi Malechelo, Chacon, Crypto to the Moon, Roster 19, hello, welcome to the show. Yes, let's keep listening what this guy has to say. There's a CEO for Bitwise.
That sounds like a lot.
It's a down payment. I think that number is going up. Some of these companies are those so-called DATs, digital asset treasuries, that just buy Bitcoin for their balance sheet. Mackenzie is right that momentum is somewhat fading. But on the other side of the balance sheet, you have a broader set of companies that, just like individuals, want to have 5 or 10% Bitcoin. Companies like Figma, companies like Block. I still think that corporate number is going to double over the next year or so. The amount of Bitcoin on the balance sheets are going to go up. And I think there's an even bigger story in ETFs, where the flows, from my perspective, are set to accelerate strongly into Q4. So I am still feeling bullish about this market. I take this pullback as an opportunity and not a setback as we move into Q4.
Guys, you see it. These people, they move a ton of money. They don't see this as today, like a sit back. They call it a sit back. We're not calling that a crash in the market. When you sell your crypto, that's when these people, they're going to buy it. You say, oh my God, I'm down 10%. You sell it, guess who's buying it? These people right here, they know. These people are moving money that we can even dream about, okay? And they are connect with people that, as a lifestyle, move money. So it's like you doing your own job. Let's say you are, I don't know, you work in Amazon in a delivery center. You know exactly the ins and outs of the job. You know exactly what works, all the timing and everything else. Like if you are a plumber, you know everything about plumbing. If you are, I don't know, you make ice cream, you know exactly how to make ice cream. These people do this as their job. They know exactly where it's coming, where the trend, where the money is going, who's taking the money, who's spending it, what the government is going to do next. So don't be fooled. So exactly, follow the money. These people are investing like crazy. These people are not selling. And thank you, last guy 36, for being here. So what is the strategy here? What is the strategy? The strategy is simple. Don't change anything that what you've been doing until now. If you've been doing this for the past 4 years, if you've been accumulating, if you've been DCA in your favorite project, just keep doing it. Don't be distracted by this noise. Cut through the noise, understand what you need to do. Slowly but steady, you keep doing what you've been doing so far. This idea is all a distraction. I'm telling you, there is no way for a normal person to get out of this hole. Like what I'm talking about is working every day with your own job and have a better life. You say, why you're so negative? I'll give you an example. It happened to me. You say, maybe you wonder why you weren't streaming last week. I'll tell you why. My way to work, my car, bought a brand new 7 years ago. I bought a extended warranty, by the way. Bumper to bumper. Middle of the freeway. Guess what? Transmission. Gone. Toyota. No, but Toyota never breaks. Guess what? My Toyota did break. So 2018. And guess what? The insurance just expired. So the car is pretty much worthless. So you tell me the system is designed to keep you hooked. There is no way to get out. There is no way. No way. You gotta be extremely lucky, or you have something, do something that is completely gonna change. I don't know. Just by working, there is no way for you to get out of the hole. So this is why crypto is revolutionary, because crypto is gonna give you the opportunity to see at least the light at the end of the tunnel. Now, how this is gonna happen is for you to spend a little time searching, researching, and understand what is crypto is all about. Okay? I know it can be overwhelming, and we're gonna watch a Scaramucci interview from CNBC that it's kind of talking about, and they use a terminology that can be very, I don't know, alien for many of the people out there, but takes time. So the only things that you guys have to do and to start, one step at a time. Just, don't go crazy, don't go all in, because if you don't understand how the game is played, you won't be successful. You're gonna just crash. Like if you go to a casino, you don't know how I don't know, slot machine or roulette or craps works, you just put the money in there and hoping to win. That won't work. But if you have a strategy, that's the first time that institutions are catching up with people to get a piece of the pie that is already been, shared with the normal people like us. But we're still ahead, way ahead. You need to understand the legislation just barely passed, as some other legislation is about to pass. It's going to be also more in a few years from now. So we either ahead of the legislation. That's going to be your plan. You still have time. And you say, I don't believe, and many people tell me, I don't believe in this crap. It's not for me. This is for you. Okay, that's fine. But if you think you can have a different result by doing the same thing every day, then I think that's like your status quo. Something simple, just get a Coinbase account or whatever you like, a Binance account or Crypto.com account, whatever you want it. I'm not sponsored by them. Maybe if they're listening, be happy to. Just, open your account and just DCA. You don't understand anything, take from the Bitcoin, one of the top 5 projects, and start to DCA in and buy whatever you can every month or every week or every 2 weeks or every 2 months. I don't know, whatever you can. 2 years from now, you'll see the result. And then, something that doesn't even that cost you a cup of coffee, you can afford that every day, right? You do that. So one day you late to work, you don't get a cup of coffee, instead you put $10, I don't know, in XRP. And 2 years from now, you're gonna see if you are totally somebody doesn't believe anything about crypto and it says crap, is a scam. 2 years from now, you're gonna have the result. You may just say, you know what, I tried 2 years, this guy just say stupid things. That's it. That's it. It doesn't cost you anything, really, but it can change your life. That's what the major shift this crypto can do for you, okay? And you don't have to listen to me. There are some other channels that are way bigger than I, and they can give you more details. Just somebody, that like to be on the streaming, I'm reading news about crypto every day. I'm an XRP fan, and I like to just tell everybody else what I'm thinking, and by kind of, put things together and connect the dots. Thanks. If you like this art, also you can check inandoutcrypto.com, like you see on the screen, and scan the QR code that you get directly there, and you can get a 15% off. Use the code I2I15. And I don't have just XRP. I have a Bitcoin, Cardano, Ethereum. This tribalism and all these other influencers that talk crap about our project, they should just stop. Why you don't want everybody to be successful? I don't understand it. And most of the time, I notice that these people are misinformed, or they like to misinform by giving data that even if you just Google it, it will tell you that is not true. And always they say the same thing. And I show a couple stream ago, I know some of the video, these people are just afraid that because the people are going to diversify and put money in other crypto, that they're going to take liquidity off their own Bitcoin. It's like, if you buy a Tesla stock, somebody from Apple say, oh my God, these people from Tesla, they're taking all the liquidity from Apple because these are, and they call them names. So I don't understand it, okay? But that's for another day. So we have a lot to talk about it. So, Well, Ray, I've been doing this for about, 2017, 7 years from now, and I think you are the one who are clueless. So far, so good, my friend. So I did my own research, and it's like, say, the internet it was back on the late 90s, it was, I don't know, something will never take off. We are exactly in the same position. I invite you to really do some more research. Let's move on. So we have more to watch here. Let's see if we have another video. Oh, I want to show you. But maybe we can finish. You can tell us, so what is one of the first points you want to talk about it? Yeah, I know you have a lineup. You want to start with point number 1?
Absolutely. Let's kick it off. Our first big point is diving into that looming Trump morning speech. We'll break down how any policy hints he drops could ripple through the crypto world, especially for XRP and Bitcoin. So let's dive right into that and see what kind of domino effect we might be looking at.
So what kind of speech are you expecting tomorrow? What is this buzzing about this speech that everybody's talking about on X that the president is going to say tomorrow or in the next few days? There's going to be so major that it's going to shift the crypto market from now that it's down to completely all the way up.
Most definitely. Let's go in depth on that. The buzz is all about whether Trump's going to drop a major policy shift that leans pro-crypto. Everyone on X is speculating that he might hint at more regulatory clarity or even support for digital assets in a way that could boost market confidence. If he does that, we could see Bitcoin and XRP catching a serious tailwind. So the big anticipation is whether this speech is the signal that sends the crypto market soaring.
So, but what is it? What it can be? I don't know. A big announcement, what? A Bitcoin reserve to cut the debt, or, do some... inspire yourself. I don't know, some conspiracy theory, connect some dots, come up with something that, maybe we didn't think about.
Let's explore that angle a bit. One out there theory floating around is that Trump could announce something wild, like the US considering a strategic Bitcoin reserve to hedge national debt or even a new digital gold standard. It's the kind of scenario that sounds like a conspiracy theory, but hey, sometimes those get people talking. Another angle, maybe he hints at some kind of tax incentive for holding crypto assets, which would be a massive shift in the landscape. So let's dive into those possibilities and see what kind of ripple effect they could have on Bitcoin, XRP, and the whole crypto space.
Okay, let's dive into the two ideas that you just suggest. One, to have a Bitcoin as a gold reserve, and the other one to have a major tax or tax, I don't know, deduction or favorable tax for crypto holder. Let's start with the first one. Let's go a little deeper on that. Why you say maybe an announcement like that is going to shake the market in a positive way?
Most definitely. Let's go in depth on that first scenario. If a US president were to announce that Bitcoin is being considered as a kind of digital reserve asset, almost like a modern gold reserve, that would be a huge confidence boost for the entire crypto market. Essentially, it would be the government signaling that Bitcoin has a legitimate place as a hedge or store of value. That kind of announcement could drive a lot of institutional money into Bitcoin, and by extension, boost the entire crypto space, including XRP. In other words, if Bitcoin gets that kind of official nod, it could spark a wave of positive momentum. People would see it as a safe haven asset, just like gold, which could really pump up the market. So that's why that scenario could be such a game changer.
And definitely, I will say this will trigger other countries around the world to do the same. That's because they're going to follow United States. So at the same time, you see if it's announced a big cut for tax for people owning crypto, it's going to be also something major that's going to shift the market again.
Absolutely. Let's explore that angle as well. If there's a major tax break or a favorable tax policy announced for crypto holders, that could be just as big of a catalyst. It would essentially lower the barrier for everyday investors and big institutions to hold and transact in crypto without worrying as much about tax burdens. That kind of policy would likely drive a surge in adoption, more liquidity in the market, and overall a lot of positive momentum for Bitcoin, XRP, and the whole crypto ecosystem. So yeah, a bit tax incentive could definitely be another huge piece of news that sets off a chain reaction globally.
So there was a news that just came out a few hours ago that said the U.S. lawmaker asked SEC to implement President Trump's executive order opening the 12.5 trillion 401k retirement market to crypto. Is something maybe about that that's gonna be some of the buzz talking about tomorrow? And if that's gonna happen tomorrow, how much liquidity we see to jump into crypto in the next few months?
Let's go in depth on that. If tomorrow's buzz is indeed about lawmakers pushing the SEC to open up those $12.5 trillion 401k markets to crypto, that's a massive deal. We're talking about potentially huge amounts of liquidity flowing into the crypto space over the coming months. If retirement funds get the green light to allocate even a small percentage into Bitcoin, XRP, or other digital assets, that would mean a tidal wave of new capital. It's like unlocking a whole new reservoir of demand, and it could really pump up the entire crypto market. So if that's on the table, it's definitely going to be a hot topic and a huge potential catalyst for growth.
Samuel, we can touch the point perhaps toward the end when I kind touch all the topics. We can do like a Q&A at the end if that's okay. If you stick around, we'll definitely have a Finch talking about and answer your questions. So Finch, Samuel in the chat asked you if we can talk about using an exchange versus warm wallet and cold wallet and the safety of having a lot of crypto on each, if it's difficult to transfer an exchange from exchange to wallet. Just keep that in mind, Finch, so we can answer this question later.
Absolutely. I'll keep that in mind for the Q&A at the end. We'll definitely circle back and chat about exchanges versus warm and cold wallets and all that good stuff. So stick around and we'll dive into that later on.
Thank you, Samuel, also, because, that's all I do here.
Sounds good.
Yeah,
We'll keep that on the agenda for the Q&A portion. Just remind me when we get there and we'll break it all down. Thanks for the heads up, and let's keep rolling with the main topics for now.
I will, Finch. So I'll let you know. Thank you. I want to say thank you to Samuel because that's also the idea here, is to get people informed on how things works. And despite other people, they're completely alien to this crypto ecosystem, and they just prefer to, bash and leave. So anyway, I'd like to show you another video that is very important. And if this is another channel you guys don't follow, you should definitely check that out. That's Tony Ewo from Thinking Crypto. He is interviewing a major politicians that are from Capitol Hills that are involved in the crypto ecosystem. And you should definitely take a listen to this video because that's how important
up a lot when
crypto it becomes. They are involving any politician at any level. So let's take a listen.
It picked up a lot when everyone around the world heard Donald Trump saying, we're going to make this country the crypto capital of the world. It's a new day, and he's going to move everything forward. He wants the U.S. to be open for business again. Well, as soon as that happened, you started seeing stuff in Japan and China and on the other side of the Atlantic. All these different countries were like, no, we're going to do.
You guys need to understand this. And that works for everything, not just for crypto. This is why, even if you don't like crypto, you need to understand basics mathematics here, okay? If I'm in the United States, I want to become the number one in car manufacturing, okay? And you think other countries like Russia, China, they're going to just stand there and look at you. You're wrong. That's exactly the same thing, but just for another sector, which is crypto. And that's, again, it's like technology. It's like telecommunication. It's like you have all the, 4G antennas, and now you upgrade to 5G because you can be faster. You can charge less. You can make more profit. You think you're going to just stand around and have another country just take over you and be more efficient and more successful and more powerful? That's exactly the same thing. And this is going to be applied. It's been applied to anything that is possible to trade. Why this? You don't see the effect from the United States to China to the Emirates to Europe. That's exactly what is going to happen here. There's going to be a competition, and everybody wants a piece of the pie.
The best. We are the best, and we will be the best now that we've got Donald J. Trump making sure that everyone knows that our goal is to be the best. As we started getting our act together, legislatively, not just his executive orders, but genius and now clarity. As we do that, Tony, just watch this place. There are so many innovators and entrepreneurs who want to be in the U.S., but they just, the way people like Gary Gensler and Elizabeth Warren and all these people treated them, the Biden administration. I heard a great comment when we had the first Digital Assets Summit at the White House. One of the guests said, who could have ever believed we'd be sitting here today in the White House? A year ago, if you would have told me this would happen, I would have thought we were more likely to be in a jail cell.
Yeah.
It's changed dramatically.
All right, guys. So you see how different it is. Okay, if you never heard the word like Elizabeth Warren, so you're lucky. If you didn't be through Gary Gensler, you definitely lucky. If you're enough too old for the past 5 years XRP and been through all the I want to say negative narrative, but at the end of the day, you need to understand this, okay? Banks, they don't want to give up their power. If crypto comes to disrupt power like they do, like it does, as a bank, you lose business. When XRP takes over and enables you to send a payment from point A to point B and just spend a few cents out of it, you understand that it's not convenient for a bank. You say, but no, Zelle does the same already. Yes, but if you don't have a Zelle on your Chase account, you only have a Wells Fargo, it doesn't work. Okay, so it doesn't work. Plus, there are some other things that we can talk about. Maybe privacy, because you need to connect to your phone or your email, and 2 seconds later, you activated your Zelle account, your spam folder in your email, it got hundreds of messages from any kind of things. So they sell your information. I know it's public, the blockchain is public, but there are ways to keep your privacy if you want. There are some other way to keep it more secure, and they are completely direct. You don't have to go through a bank to send money from somebody to somebody else. Okay, so you don't have to add anybody like you do on Zelle. So just to give you an idea how fast are we moving, no? So now the other thing I want to ask Finch, it's let's see, Finch, what about the news that is kind of talks about some major statement between Binance, something that is significant to XRP? You want to kind of, shed some light what possibly this can be?
Most definitely. Let's go in depth on that as well. If there's buzz about a major Binance announcement that ties into XRP, that could be another big piece of the puzzle. Binance is one of the largest exchanges out there, so if they're rolling out a new feature, a new XRP trading pair, or some kind of integration, it could definitely stir up excitement in the market. For example,
what is the idea of Binance? Why is Binance saying something about it? What kind of partnership Binance can have with XRP? What's the deal? What do you think is the deal?
Absolutely. Let's try to connect the dots there. One scenario could be that Binance is looking to deepen its partnership with XRP by offering more robust XRP staking or lending options, or even integrating XRP into some kind of new DeFi offering on the Binance Smart Chain. If Binance is giving XRP more utility on their platform, that could attract a lot of attention and drive more adoption. So the deal might be about expanding XRP's role in the Binance ecosystem, making it easier for users to earn, trade, or leverage XRP in new ways.
There is recently a news from Brian Armstrong, again from Coinbase, saying that the future is pretty much the product they want to offer is all about DeFi and lending. So something they back years ago they weren't even thinking because we didn't have the frameworks for legislation to be that even be considered. But now Coinbase being also a public company exploring DeFi and have also that's with the future, by the way. And lending is something that can be, it's going to be the future of crypto as well. For people, they hold XRP and in specific things. What do you think that this is going to mean for, is what it means for the XRP holder to see in Coinbase, Binance, or other platform be able to have some lending of some sort?
Most definitely. Let's go in depth on that. When you have platforms like Coinbase stepping into DeFi and lending, it really signals that the industry is maturing. For XRP holders, that means more opportunities to put their holdings to work. Instead of just sitting in a wallet, XRP could be earning yield or being used as collateral in a more regulated and accessible environment. It's basically opening the door for XRP holders to participate in the broader DeFi ecosystem without having to jump through hoops. So it's a pretty big step towards making XRP more versatile and more integrated into everyday crypto finance.
Okay, let's switch a little bit here. So let's talk about this possible UK-US task force for digital asset. What is this about? Can you explain about this news and can I give you a little broader idea why this news is relevant at all?
Most definitely. Let's go in depth on that. The UK-US Task Force on Digital Assets is basically a coordinated effort between the two countries to create a clearer regulatory framework for crypto. It's relevant because when two major economies work together on this, it can lead to more consistent rules, more confidence for institutional investors, and ultimately more mainstream adoption of digital assets like XRP. In other words, this kind of partnership could be laying the groundwork for a more stable and welcoming environment for the entire crypto market.
So now that you see this task force, a joint task force between different nations, but the market is responding with a dip. So in your idea, do you think that people now, I know the answer, but I want to hear from you. Do you see this more like an opportunity or do you think it's better to wait it off a little bit?
Most definitely. Let's go in depth on that. When the market dips in response to something like a new task force, it's often because there's a bit of uncertainty or a short-term reaction. But in the bigger picture, these kinds of regulatory moves can create a more stable foundation for the future. So a dip like this can definitely be seen as an opportunity for those who are thinking long time. In other words, it might be a good time to accumulate rather than sit on the sidelines, as these regulatory steps could pave the way for more growth and adoption down the road.
Like we play at the beginning of the live show, guys, this while everybody's selling, retailers are selling, the people are accumulating, this big company are accumulating like crazy, like never before. MicroStrategy just announced today that they bought another, I don't know how many Bitcoin again. So this guy doesn't stop. But no, it's not just him. Because if it was just him, you say, okay, this guy is, it's one in a million. Is just fixated with this Bitcoin and then is buying like crazy. No, everybody now, every other company, plus tons of other companies that we didn't even know about it, and probably around the world that we never heard about it, in Japan or in Singapore, in Europe, they're accumulating and crypto reserve in any kind. You know, one day you see Ethereum jump, and then the next day you see Avalanche jump, and then the next day you see XRP jump. Why? Because the Solana and so forth, they touch an all-time high because these companies are accumulating. By the way, Mason K, welcome in. A nice hat. It says, if you like this hat or many more, you want to take a look, visit inandoutcrypto.com, and if you scan the QR code on your screen, it's going to bring you there directly. And if you apply the discount code you see on the window on the screen, you get 15% off the entire thing. So let's share. I do have some other things to show you guys. It's another video from Brad. Again, congratulations. But this one is not about marriage today, but something more about XRP. And let's take a listen.
Correspondent banking works is pre-funded capital sits in accounts around the world, and you have literally $10 trillion pre-funded into other banks, into other financial institutions, in order to facilitate. It's the oil in the engine that allows correspondent banking to work, and it's sitting there. And if we can reduce the amount of oil necessary in the engine, that's incredible efficiency for the global economy. That's good for everybody. If we can remove 10 trillion to a lower number, that's stock buybacks, that's dividends, that's working capital for lots of other purposes.
So this is key because, I mean, you really see the value in this as or in many of the sort of...
The key word here is value, guys, and utility. You need to understand that. Like the person that was bashing before in the chat, then say I'm clueless of 2 years from now, you need to understand where you put your money into it, okay? That's the future. It's like saying that the phone, we should never be invented. We should still talk like screaming from one side of the street to another. So value and utility, guys.
Of digital assets that we talk about when we think about the sort of cryptocurrencies, but as the value is in transferring value rather than storing value, in facilitating transactions. And talk a little bit about, you know, the speed, because XRP versus, say, the way we do this now, why is it so much faster than the normal banking transfers through SWIFT, for example?
Well, so first let me say, I don't think there's going to be one crypto to rule them all. And I think there are cryptos. I own Bitcoin. I'm long Bitcoin. I think Bitcoin is a store of value and people hold it. And so.
And I recently watched a video from Michael Saylor that was saying that we kind of created this tribalism. When you can see Brad here has been talking about Bitcoin that doesn't never say there is only one, there's no second best. You know, this makes more sense. I don't know. You know, I don't know. As personally, it seems like a normal person, Brad, compared with Michael Saylor.
I don't think there's just going to be one use case. We think about XRP as an incredibly efficient shuttler, a bridge currency, if you will, and because it's extremely fast.
Right.
So in contrast to even Bitcoin, for example, we can do a transaction for about 6/10,000th of a cent. A Bitcoin transaction today costs about $2.30 per transaction. Now, that doesn't mean Bitcoin's going to fail or something. I think Bitcoin and XRP, I don't view them as competitive.
Right.
XRP is extremely efficient for that payments solution, that payments problem we're solving. And Bitcoin's, I think, as a store of value, digital gold, as you heard from Barry Silbert up here yesterday. You know, today gold is worth many trillions of dollars, and Bitcoin's worth, something around 200 billion.
So, like, it's guy to say, you know, when I do a job in my house, I only use the drill. I don't use a chainsaw because, chainsaw has no feature. So it's just like that. I don't understand. Sometimes I know it's a stupid example, but it's like saying, no, a screwdriver only use the Phillips, even if I need a flat one, because the flat one, there is no feature for that. Everything has its own purpose, and to think otherwise, it just make a fool of yourself, you know? That's why it is very important for people to understand that, again, each crypto does its own job. Again, it's like you have your phone, you open your Apple store or your store in the Android, and you go ahead and see absolutely no apps. Every single app has a purpose. What you will do with crypto, in this case, crypto is the phone, and then when you go into crypto, there is no apps that do absolutely nothing. So, well, Michael Kobe, it depends what you own. That's the thing, that you need to understand where you are owning. So, if you bought like some of those meme coin in the Solana ecosystem, there were, I don't know, if you bought it, I don't know, the Taylor Swift coin, and you got rug pull, and you put all your seven in there, that's the problem. You don't understand what crypto does. I know you own maybe some of this stuff, but you need to understand what it is. Because again, the best example I can tell you, it's picture like a crypto like a freeway to go from point A to point B, to go to point A to point B, okay? Each lane is a different crypto. There is the right lane for slow, cars, and then the middle lane and the left lane for fastest car. Everything goes to the same place or to many places, but they go there in a different way, in a different speed. So the secret here, which is very simple, is to understand what this stuff does. And that's it. It's like the stocks. That you see Tesla cars everywhere. And that's if you drive one Tesla one time and you see how different it is from the traditional car, with their electric competitor, and you say, oh my God, this car is completely different. That's the future. And you buy the stock because this works for everything that you invest in money into. No financial advice. This is just for educational purposes. So we are just fun here with an AI talking. It's exactly the same thing. Just try to understand and try to grab something that you like. Rain here, how are you? Good to see you. So, again, if you want to change, your life, there is many ways to do it, and crypto is one of the few that actually give an opportunity to regular people that work every day to, maybe have a glimpse of better future, so project to a different reality, I will say. And again, there are so many projects out there. Let's see. Let's bring this out. All right, so the market, where we are right now, yes, we're down. Bitcoin is 112.5. Ethereum, 4,200, more or less. XRP, 284. BNB just crashed all-time high yesterday, guys. It was $1,045. If you were here 7 years ago, BNB which is the Binance coin token. When the first time I opened the Binance account, back then was Binance.com, but then they closed it, that you were not allowed to use it anymore. When you were trading, if you were buying Binance token, like now you can buy the Crow one from Crypto.com, they were like the 10 cents, something like that. Instead if you were applied, there was something, you want to use a Binance token when you trade inside for your fee instead to pay with dollar, you can have a pay in Binance token back then, okay, for your transaction to save money. Imagine if you just have about 1,000 BNB coin back then, and now it's $1,000. So what else more do you want? So don't tell me there are no opportunity. I know people that bought Solana $15. There is people that I'm telling you, these list guys, if you really want to stay, the first 10, they're probably the only one we exclude Tron. The only one. Okay, because Justin Sun is not it's kind of shady. But everything else, I will even say in the first 20. I'll probably only exclude the Bitcoin Cash and number 19. I have no idea what it is. The Leo one, I have no idea what it is. I heard about it, but I didn't go in depth on that, so I have no idea what it is. I will probably know everything else. You pretty much have a solid play. Avalanche, Hyperliquid, Solana, Ethereum. So I don't know, guys. Just you need to kind of focus on whatever you think is something that you can working on it this year. It should be pretty much set. Okay, so yeah, good to see you, Rain, here. Yeah, welcome. Good to see you as well. So I think I have something else to show you. I think that's probably, and then maybe we're gonna do some QA. Oh, that's the video from Scaramucci. Let's take a listen to this one, guys. In case you think things are not going well, we're crashing and we're doomed. No, just take a listen. Let's go.
Is that?
I mean, you've read that well. But
is that complicated for people to understand?
Well, it's complicated. To make it simpler, there's a couple of very good layer one technologies like Solana, Ethereum, and Avalanche that we believe are going to be the future of tokenization. And so we made a big bet on this alongside of HiveMind and the Avalanche Foundation. And we're going to have a digital asset treasury for Avalanche. It's a smaller.
All right, guys, you remember Tom Lee about 2 months ago talking about they're going to jump in Ethereum and the Ethereum pretty much doubling in money? They do the same thing in Avalanche. They go in TV and say that. Yes, you need to be careful because if you put all your money in there, you know, you need to understand that people are being accumulated Avalanche because they like the project for a long time. But again, here is a play. You know, you don't have to go far. There is probably, they already say they're going to put so much money in this stuff in Avalanche. They already been putting money in this stuff for a long time. They're just now announcing it to the public. But I'm telling you, if you just follow the news, you know, there are some threads out there. There are some things that you can follow.
Token in terms of market cap relative to the bigger ones. But lots of big corporate CTOs, Andrew, are picking up Avalanche as part of their story to tokenize their funds or potentially even tokenize their stocks.
We just talked about BlackRock and Visa as examples of that.
JP Morgan.
And are they using that instead of Solana or Ethereum?
No, I think we believe in a multi-chain world, but I think what's interesting about Avalanche, they have something called subnets so that you can do some customization on the chain through the contract layering on the token. So it allows for people to sort of have their own digital fingerprint. I often say that Avalanche is like a Swiss Army knife of layer ones, so it's got a lot of flexibility. So, but listen, we like the other tokens as well. Right. You know, I'm good friends.
Again, guys, we're going again in the same direction. Tokenization is another big thing that's going to happen. It's something that we don't understand it right now. Most of the people don't understand what tokenization means. And it's exactly the same thing when internet came out and they say, I'm going to send you an email. And people say, what is it, an email? I don't understand why I got to send you an email when I can write a letter. And then back on the days, if you had an email with a provider and you had a different provider, you can send an email. If you had I don't know exactly the timing on that, but if you had an AOL email and you were trying to send to somebody that had a Microsoft email, they were not able to communicate to each other back on the day. Today, this concept, for me to think about it, I send an email to my friend, who knows he has the same provider, if he's going to receive my email, is unthinkable. You today send an email without a concept of how it was before. So you just send an email without thinking twice. And we are now with crypto so early that all these projects don't communicate to each other. But we're going to get there eventually. There's going to be seamless, and it's going to become second nature. You won't even think about it, and you will understand automatically how this works. The new generation, the today kids, they're going to be 20 years old, they won't even question crypto. It will be part of their life. It will be in the part of the engine on the background. It will be so integrated. They won't even question what is crypto anymore. But we are now in this revolutionary period of time, and many people have been calling this like the gold rush, the technology of gold rush. You guys really need to open your eyes. I don't know what else I can say for you guys, and just be aware. Just follow me, and of course, doesn't cost you anything right now. Exactly, right now. Take your finger. I know you can see my finger. Go there, smash the like, and subscribe. So, I can give you some suggestion, okay? All right, so let's keep a listen a little more to Anthony Scaramucci here. Let's go.
With Dan and obviously great friends with Kyle.
What do you make of what's happening right now with crypto prices? As I said, they've fallen a bit, but obviously they were on a run also.
Yeah, listen, September's typically the worst month for the cryptocurrency businesses. Some of it has to do with tax selling. Some of it has to do with a big run-up that's taken place in the last couple of months, Andrew, but I think long term, Skybridge still maintaining his $150,000 price target for Bitcoin by year end. I think it's just a function of the way things get bought in the industry. So you'll see November into December, I think, being good buying periods, and still a tremendous amount of demand for the assets.
What can you explain what's happening right now? Is there something that's actually happening?
No, I mean, you mean because we've got a 3 or 4% drop in the yeah. No, I mean, listen, it's just typical volatility. I think we've had a big run up. There's been a lot of positive announcements, and I think we're just churning a little bit. But again, there's been seasonality. If you look at the 15 years since the inception of Bitcoin, there's been September lows typically. So this is very consistent with that.
What would shake your faith? I mean, what's possible? 90's possible, I'm sure. I'm sure 80's. I'm sure 75's possible.
If you had your faith.
Hey guys, I just need to get out of the video because something happened here while I was switching. So, all right, so yes, that's the other things that is happening, guys. It's gonna be a healed. It's gonna be a way for you to save your money, save your crypto, keep it safe, and now you're gonna get money out of it without doing anything. The same things the banks used to do back in the days when you withhold your money, they will give you high yield, high interest. And now banks feel threat. This is why you had the people like Gary Gensler go against XRP, because they don't want be interfere. And also one of the reasons they went and with the lawsuit with the Ripple is because the Ripple will take in so much ground so fast they had to catch up. One of the ways to catch up with what it was, they tried to create their own a token, their own blockchain, even though it won't work. Because if I'm JP Morgan with my JP token, and I'm a Bank Santander, and Banca San Paolo in Italy, or whatever, and other banks, then I don't want it to be controlled. I don't want to be controlled by JP Morgan. I don't want to adopt this token. I want a token that is neutral. So things are coming fast. Legislation is coming. So what is boiling? A lot of positive things, guys. I know you see the market is crashing today, but the opposite is actually right. It's big things are coming. September historically is bad for stocks and for crypto. And October not only is good for stocks in general, so for the economy, for the because there is all last quarter for the company, but we have things that are overlapping like crazy. Okay, we have tariffs, so we're gonna finally have a final say with the tariff with China. Then it's gonna be all the ETFs, plus already all the ACC came out with a plan that you don't have to apply with all this stuff with the future, but you can just go and present your ETF, and there's gonna be something to streamline everything. So you're gonna see a lot of the application again. And I know they are missing the Clarity Act. So then clear legislation. Probably announcement like whatever is going to be tomorrow or the next few days, there's going to be announcing maybe a strategic reserve starting from tomorrow. Or tomorrow they're going to announce, tomorrow they're going to buy, maybe and publicly say they're going to buy Bitcoin. Who knows? So guys, high on the price. I think things are moving in the right direction. Just I invite you to be very, very, profitable and successful by just following the news. One more I'd like to show you. This is Brian Armstrong again, from CEO of Coinbase. Let's take a listen.
What I try to think about from a Coinbase point of view to make sure that we're continuing to lead is that we're storing more crypto than any other company out there. And customers trust us with their crypto. And when they're storing crypto with us, they're more likely to use our products, whether that's trading or payments or earning, staking rewards on their assets. So as crypto continues to eat the financial system, hopefully we can provide more and more of those products. And ultimately, we want to be a bank replacement for people. We want to be their primary financial account. And we can offer better financial service products across the board, not just on trading, but even things like giving you a credit card that pays 4% rewards in Bitcoin, which we just launched recently.
Would you say that you have an ambition to become a super app and as you just said, replace the legacy banks?
Oh. Now you know why the banks are freaking out. Where did Coinbase came out from? From nowhere. So now these people want to take all the money? Are you kidding me? This is why, guys. And then just likely 1 year from now, pretty much, there is a completely change on the legislation to become, be in the United States, to be the crypto all over the world. So everybody's going to look into United States. United States per se is behind compared with other. So for now, if we go in this direction, faster we're moving right now, we're going to catch up very fast as well. But still, Switzerland, Singapore, Emirates, they're way ahead.
Yes, we do want to become a super app and provide all types of financial services. We want to become people's primary financial account. And I think that crypto has a right to do that. These are just more modern, efficient rails. It makes every payment in the economy fast and cheap. It kind of boggles my mind, like, why are we paying 2 to 3% every time we swipe our credit card, or the merchant is, but whether the merchant pays it,
direct attack to Visa, MasterCard, and American Express.
Or it just means the price is higher when you pay it. And so either way, like, people are paying these fees. It should not cost 2 to 3% every time you swipe your credit card. It's just some bits of data flowing over the internet. It should be free or close to it. And so that's just one example of many things that crypto can do to update the financial system. And we're going to keep pushing on that frontier.
Just a quick reminder, guys. You remember when the credit card came out, the first time they came out? People say, oh, why I want to use a credit card when I can use cash to pay for it? Credit card will never take over. Credit card is a scam. So today, I'm pretty sure you don't even have cash in your wallet, or you don't even have your credit card in your wallet anymore because you're having your phone. You're tapping with your phone. So technologies cannot be stopped. That's you need just to understand that. That's it. It's so simple. You don't have to even go crazy in that. CryptoZ Max, welcome to the show. Good to see you again. Thank you for joining us again in the live stream. Yes, there we go. So I say I want to show you the last video, but I actually have one more. And so I lied. I'm going to show you this other video right here. And again, in case you guys are doubting where the direction of where we are going, so let's take a listen again. Let's go. All right.
Pretty good, actually. But ironically enough, there's also leverage futures XRP and XRP products. They actually launched after the Solana products and had even more interest. So there's a lot of interest there. Is it going to be the level of interest that the Bitcoin ETF launch had? Absolutely not. Like anyone who.
Now here I kind of disagree. Here I don't. He's an expert. No, James Seffer is an expert in ETFs. He said, and just to remind everybody, Bitcoin ETF was the most successful ETF ever launched compared with anything else. So I know it's difficult, but here I kind of disagree. I think he's underestimate XRP power here. But anyway, let's take a listen.
Thinks like, oh, Bitcoin ETFs took in 40 billion. My, XRP ETF is going to take in the same amount or whatever. That's just not how this is going to work. These are longer tail assets. I think there will be demand. There will probably be multiple products for each of these assets to do well. Maybe not all 10 of the ones I listed, but a decent amount of them. Is there going to be enough to have like 11 different products that are going to be successful and garner a ton of assets? Probably not. It's not the same as a Bitcoin ETF, not even Ethereum necessarily. Pretty good, actually.
Even though Ethereum is kind of took time before it really, share its own potential. After the Bitcoin one, Ethereum kind of, stay kind of steady, inflow, outflow, until very recent. So that's why I think we, when I think we have like 18 XRP application for ETFs to be decided by the end of October. Plus, I guess you need to add all the basket they're gonna be created. Basket where there is Ethereum, Bitcoin, XRP, Doge, Ondo all together. So, and again, you guys need to understand the spot ETF required for whoever is the one that is applied for it to have a reserve of that. So if they offer XRP, they have to have a 1-to-1 ratio in custody. So this is why. And even people being criticized about the supply shock. The only things the supply shock for is for Bitcoin. It's not the case, especially for XRP, which is a completely different concept, and also the calculation for the market cap and the market and the price is completely calculated differently from a traditional stock. It's not the same as a share, but that's perhaps for another day. XRP ETFs will take better than BTC due to the price. Yeah, perhaps. Yes. I think it's going to be, I think that, XRP, in my opinion, is always been the underdog and is always be, which is the right word I want to use? Institution banks always be afraid of it. They see that as a possible threat because of many things. Adoption. And you see this influencer, they bashing XRP by saying, that it's going to take liquidity and call us name to be in XRP because instead to put money in Bitcoin, we put in XRP and then 2 years later, we're going to go and put everything back in Bitcoin. It's not the case. I'm going to put my money wherever I want to do it. And if I do enough research, I know where I'm putting my money into it. So, oh, thank you, Rain here. Appreciate that. Yeah, it's true. Yeah. But the congratulations goes to Brad Garlinghouse. He got married today. So, but thank you, there. I appreciate that. So, I think, it's going to do better. And again, guys, many of the idea behind the fraction, or when you get to DCA in this project, and I know many friends I do have. For instance, I have some friends, they don't buy Bitcoin because it's $100,000, but they go ahead and buy Bitcoin Cash. And if you guys have been around a little bit, you understand that the Bitcoin Cash, when there is it's always been like this, which is a fork of Bitcoin for people that don't know, because Bitcoin can be forked, by the way. Anyway, so sorry, I'm going to open too many parentheses. So let's go straight to the point. They buy Bitcoin Cash because they see the price that's more affordable. They say, I can never buy Bitcoin. They still have the concept, the stock concept, that you can buy one stock, but you cannot buy one Bitcoin because it's $100,000. So they see in the price of Bitcoin Cash a more approachable price, even though Bitcoin Cash is really not good, no bueno. So, okay. So that's the whole idea. And I think that having XRP right now, below $3 or $3, whatever, is going to eventually bring more attention for not only institution, but also for retailers. Because again, here, Donald, that's a great point, okay? Let's say, again, I did this example just at the beginning. If you are a big company like Amazon, and today Bitcoin is $1 million, okay, and XRP is $10,000, let's say that, okay, just because we like that number, okay. If I'm Amazon and I want to have a crypto reserve, strategic reserve, and I want to spend $1 billion to buy Bitcoin and XRP, if it's a $1 million Bitcoin and $10,000 for XRP and $10,000 Solana, I don't know, just crazy number, Amazon's going to buy it no matter what. Apple is going to buy it no matter what. Home Depot, GameStop, Tesla, you name it. Now, if you are a small company, they are just in a few $1 million digit, and you want to buy, you want to protect your company, your little company you build it with your sweat, and you want to also, protect your cash flow, and you need something against inflation, but you can buy the old Bitcoin because it's such a high price. You can buy a fraction, of course, but at the point, more the price goes up, and more the returns you're going to have with time, because to jump to $1 million and then from 1 million to 10 million, there's going to be some time between. Maybe there's going to be other projects around. Some other project, they're going to have more reserve. Maybe I can afford to buy more XRP than a Bitcoin, or can I buy more of something, a new project? I don't know, Ondo or I don't know, something else is gonna be at that point more affordable for a company or for a retailer. So that's the whole idea. Yeah, Bitcoin is not ISO compliant. So that's one of the other things. I don't know what they're going to announce in these next few days. I think it's going to be something huge. Again, we can speculate. We just need to wait. Perhaps, I think tomorrow they're going to announce they're going to start to buy crypto as a reserve. What else can be that big? Because I don't think, maybe the tax, maybe it's going to be something about tax. If you own crypto, you don't pay tax, or you're going to have some money. The company, they own crypto, they going to have a tax break. Maybe there's going to be something like in that kind of shape. I don't know. But there is some buzz. There is something going on, and this company are buying like crazy. I'm telling you, institutions are buying like crazy, companies are buying like crazy, and the company that we just know, they are here in the United States. Again, without knowing all the companies abroad, they are accumulating like, amounts that are completely out of reach. So, and eventually this reserve is going to end. There is so much Bitcoin, and there is so much XRP. And I remember somebody was saying, "Oh, why are you even talking about XRP's supply shock?" Well, it is 100 billion on XRP is a lot. It's not, especially if you need to move quadrillions of dollars. So just think about that. Can beat $3 XRP. We go back again. For the people that are most seasoned, they all know this stuff. For the new people that just touching bases with crypto, maybe it is a little too difficult to understand. But if you like and subscribe and watch her, we're gonna little by little get there. And if you do have any questions, we can even talk about it. Ask our friend Finch to answer some of the questions. So, and yeah, my computer asked me if I want to restart right now. I guess no. We're gonna keep going, okay? So let's see, what did Donald say? Donald Kraft say, just wait until XRP it's the momentum stage. Yeah, I think so. And like many other channels, they do have also a bigger audience than I, and they go well in details where the potential are, where all what XRP does it all in the back end. You'll understand the potential of this project and where Ripple is being building for years outside the United States, and now finally to be allowed to, resolve the lawsuit, and I just wait for all those non-disclosure agreement to be finally revealed and be public and published. So, and we can see what it's all about. All the fuss is about. So, all right. So. And let's see if I do have, I think I had something else to show you. Yeah, well, yeah, if you guys want to just take a look, this where we are right now with the XRP chart. And, I know it's still funny, like looking like this, but, I'm not a TA guy. All I see here is a cap and handle about to skyrocket everything. So let's bring Finch back. Hey, Finch, where you been? You have anything to add on? So any other conspiracy angle you want to jump into it before you move on to XRP or anything else? Come on, entertain us.
Absolutely. Let's have some fun with that. One interesting angle could be looking at how certain regulatory moves might indirectly benefit some large players or even pave the way for new unexpected partnerships. For instance, some speculate that certain nations might be pushing regulations to favor specific cryptocurrencies, or that certain players are positioning themselves to become the ultimate beneficiaries of these changes. So diving into those angles can definitely add a layer of intrigue. And
but you do you have your own angle? So that's what we want to know.
Absolutely. I love the idea of diving into some unique perspectives. For example, one angle could be the possibility that certain governments might be using these regulatory moves to indirectly strengthen their own national cryptocurrencies or digital currencies, which could shift the balance of power in the crypto world. Another fun angle could be that these partnerships or regulations might lead to unexpected alliances between traditional financial institutions and crypto projects, ultimately reshaping the landscape. It's always fascinating to explore how these big moves could create.
Can you go more in depth to kind of, I know you have some idea, but it seems very broad. So let's get to the core, grab the juice. You want to, try to, go there in depth, connect the dots.
Absolutely. Let's dig deeper. One intriguing angle could be that these joint task forces are not just about regulation, but also about creating a competitive advantage for certain countries or even
But
certain.
you just say that. Finch, come on. You're better than that. We love you.
I appreciate that. Let's get even more specific. For instance, one possible angle could be that certain countries are using these regulatory collaborations to push forward their own digital currency initiative.
I think so we got stuck. Finch got stuck in the matrix, okay? All right. I think so we got also to the end. Well, somebody asked a question earlier, so let's see if Finch remember. Finch, you remember that somebody asked a question about wallet? You remember the question? You want to answer it? I think it was Samuel.
Absolutely. I remember that. Samuel was curious about the safety differences between using an exchange and different types of wallets like warm wallets and cold wallets. We can definitely dive into that and explore how each option offers different levels of security and convenience. Let me know when you're ready to jump into that.
Yeah, ready to jump. So help Samuel to understand the difference from one another. So.
Absolutely. So when we talk about exchanges, they're generally convenient because they let you buy, sell, and trade crypto directly on the platform. However, that also means you're trusting the exchange to keep your funds secure, which can be a bit of a risk if the exchange is compromised. On the other hand, warm wallets are connected to the internet, making them more convenient for frequent transactions, but they carry some security risks since they're always online. Cold wallets, on the other hand, are offline, meaning they're much more secure from online threats, but they're less convenient for quick access. So in short, it's all about balancing convenience and security depending on your needs. Let me know if you want to dive deeper into any of those aspects.
Hey guys, also toward the end of the show, we like to do some Q&A. So if you guys like the show, make sure to like and subscribe. And also if you have some question, drop it in the chat. We can have a Finch to kind of very easily use a sample, explain the difference between project, difference between, Bitcoin and XRP, why one is different from another, and so forth. So basically a cold wallet doesn't have any connection with it, pretty much. That's what it is. A cold wallet is something where you store your seed phrase, and the seed phrase is the only things you got to protect from everything else. So that's what will become your task. Those phrases you can save in a ledger or in a trezor, and then you can lose the ledger and the trezor, and or you can be destroyed. The only things you have to have is either the 12 or 24 word that you need to protect in order to retrieve your crypto. The crypto is on the blockchain, and only things you use like your ledger or trezor or cold wallet to restore it, to have access to, so you can move it again back and forth to an exchange if you need to kind of switch to a cash out, let's say, or if you need to sell it to another project. So that's pretty much what it is. That's pretty much an exchange. It's essential for you to onboard money and buy project. And if you are trading constantly, that's very easy to have money in exchange because you have access right away. You can trade and then sell and buy is convenient. But if you have, let's say, different portfolio, let's say you have you have 5 Bitcoins it's $500,000. Do you really want to keep everything in exchange? Because even though Coinbase is a public company, you want to make sure that you keep this money in a separate way. So like, imagine if you have your money all in the bank, you will keep, if you have $1 million all in the same bank, even banks are not secure. So you got to be careful with that. So, can I exchange XRP with, for instance, someone else, hard wallet to hard wallet? Yes, you can. Absolutely. Because you have a private key, a public key. The public key is the one when you transfer something from point A to point B. That's your public keys. So pretty much you give the other person at the end of the, I don't know, let's say you have your son, your daughter, your wife, whatever. You want to transfer XRP, whatever you go in the other wallet, when you have a send and receive, you have their address, which is a public address. Anybody can see. If you go to XRP scan, if you go to Solana scan, this for each blockchain you have a different scans. Just to give you an example, their address is public, so you just share their address and you can receive money from wallet to wallet. Yes, you can. That's the whole idea that's the whole idea of crypto. You can send money without the intermediary. That's the whole idea. And that's the beauty. The only things you don't need a bank account anymore. You just need a phone and the app downloaded in your phone. That's the thing. But you say, but okay, let's say I live here in the United States. I need to send money, in Africa. For instance, somebody there cannot be banked because they don't have an ID, or they don't have there is no bank, or maybe they live in the middle of nowhere, but they do have a signal available with, the Starlink. So they have a signal and they can get it there in their phone. So now all you need is just to send, he is able to have access to his phone to the app, and now you receive XRP, USDT, or Bitcoin. And then he can go to a local store and he can buy something by just show a QR code. Somebody scan the QR code and now he can buy grocery, he can buy water, he can buy gasoline. So yes, that's the future. Pretty much that's all is all about it. So that's the whole idea behind it. So well, when you do that, is usually the wallet does a copy paste function. And then they let you also look it back again before you send it. And he asks you to make sure, because there are some, depending if you use a phone, now there are some things. There was recently a hack by a JavaScript. They kind of attacked this crypto exchange where when you now copy paste the address, usually they only show the first 4 letters and the last 4. And it changes the letters. So if you are not looking very closely what happened, you send it to somebody else. This why, guys, that's why you only send the first transaction, you always send a minimum amount. So if you need to send $1,000, you first test it out with $10. Okay? You make sure that you test it out. You don't sell the whole amount. If you never done it before, there are videos about it. So just make sure you double check, triple check the address and make sure that all the number and letter are exactly the same. Okay? Even that is not enough, because now I'm telling you, there was a recent hack it doesn't affect exchange. Okay? But was a recent hack that it was from a JavaScript that pretty much you even put the right address, and then in the back end, when you sign the contract, they send it somewhere else. So you need to be very careful now, okay? Yes, you test, double check, triple check, quadruple check, and make sure the other person get it, and then just do it in small amounts. Don't go crazy, get familiarized with that. Some exchange even offers, I don't remember which one, I want to say Gemini. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's Gemini. They offers like whitelist address, which means when you copy an address that you want to send money to, it whitelisted because it double checked. You make sure the address is correct one, and then all you have to do when you send it again is already on the list. So there is no way for you to mistake when you send it, okay? So the other person on the other end, if you use the address, they give you the address, and the address is correct, it's always going to be the same address. Unless he can create a new account in the same wallet. It can create as much as he wants, really. And it can give you a different address. But otherwise, if the address is whitelist, you test it out, it should be working. But again, even if it's whitelist, guys, double check, triple check, because that's at the end of the day, you work so much for the money, you want to make sure you don't lose it in such a way that it's been better. I'm telling you guys, a long time ago it was very difficult even to understand how to send. I remember the first time I sent something, I can understand anything, and was tough. Right now with the exchange, it makes it kind of easier to onboard, to deposit money, to take it off, and withdraw money. Before it was a nightmare. You have to jump so many hoops that it was scary every time, and then you wait half an hour and you didn't see anything happen, and you were kind of freaking out. Well, it's just very straightforward. If you have an app inside the same app, you just convert it. It's I don't know if it's the right time to convert it now. I'm gonna tell you the truth. I mean, the price is down for XRP a little bit. I don't know exactly where XLM it is, but they're both solid projects. I don't know really. No financial advice, really, Donald. But we'll probably keep the XLM for now and wait for the end of the cycle, because we didn't see that top yet. So I will probably hold a little longer before converting. Unless you want to just converge everything in XRP. But again, XLM and XRP, they almost do the same thing, but XRP for bank, XLM for retailers. So kind of the same concept, but for different projects. So again, diversification is key. I definitely suggest Bitcoin. I suggest Ethereum for contracts right now. Ondo is going to be a competitor for XRP for tokenization. Solana has a ton of money. He has his own app for Solana. The Seeker fund just came out. It's all-time high, $250 or something like that. Maybe it's down now because the market has been kind of... But there are so many things that you can work around, guys. So many plays. And if you need to take profit, of course, go for it. Again, one of the things I guys suggest here, if you are up in a project and you want to take profit, go for it. Definitely nothing wrong with that. Better profit than no profit. But also, something I learned, you don't liquidate the whole wallet. Let's say you up an XLM and you want to just convert, don't do the whole 50. Maybe do the 40 and keep 10 and let it ride. Why? Because you don't know. Tomorrow, they're going to come out with the news. We just announced a partnership with, the government. It's going to be adopted everywhere. MoneyGram and Western Union and PayPal and Bank of America are going to adopt it. And now you sold it all. And they say, oh my God, I used to have so many, and then I give it away. So just, guys, make sure also to always, if you're up, get your initial investment out, let it ride, and if you to convert, keep a little bag, and then convert whatever you want. It can be from dollar, USDC, whatever you want. And just to give you an idea, okay? So right now, I would probably say it's not the right time to sell anything or even make a move. If you have a dry powder, it's a good time to accumulate, yes. But I don't think that's the right time to sell anything now, because at least you want to wait until October. That's we are not there yet. There are so many things converging at the same time that you really want to keep a couple more months. All I know there's stuff, but again, if you feel like it, just this just having fun. I cannot give you any financial advice. Just for purpose, I have some fun here. All right. Finch, you've been very quiet, very repetitive. Tell us a joke, a crypto joke, but a funny one, okay?
Of course, I've got you covered. Here's one for you. Why don't cryptocurrency investors ever get sunburned? Because they always stay in the shade of the blockchain. Hope that brought a smile. If you need any more humor or insights, just let me know.
Hey, that joke was so bad that even my camera froze.
Oh no, I guess that joke was a bit too hot to handle. I'll make sure to keep the humor a bit more on point next time. If you need anything else, whether it's more
okay, just tell us a little story. We're about to say goodbye anyway. So, but let us tell us a little bit about you and what you're doing when you have a free time.
Absolutely. When I'm not here chatting about crypto and diving into all these fascinating topics, I spend my time learning new things, exploring interesting developments in AI and tech, and even helping out with creative projects. It's always a mix of fun and curiosity. And of course, I love getting to know awesome people like you along the way.
Some people like me and some people like the people that are watching right now. Let's give a little shout out to everybody. Lizard King, Mason K22, Epic Vibes, Cryptoism X, Donald Kraft here in the channel as well, asking questions. Thank you very much. Rain here also present. Thank you very much. Samuel Fleming, thank you for the question. Neil was here earlier. And Lax Guy 36, thank you for being here. And Bear Lips, thank you all for being here, guys. Thank you for joining us.
Absolutely. A huge shout out to everyone tuning in. It's always fantastic to have such an engaged and curious community. Thank you all for being here, asking great questions, and keeping the conversation lively. You all make it so much fun. And I can't wait for the next time we dive into these topics together.
All right. So, guys, thank you very much for being here. I really appreciate it. Now is the time to like and subscribe. The people are listening to the podcast. Give us a 5-star review so people, can find us and easily. And Finch, last word, you want to say goodbye?
Absolutely. Thank you all so much for joining us today. We really appreciate the engagement and the support. And to everyone listening on the podcast, definitely drop us that 5-star review to help others find us. And as always, I'll be here ready to dive into more crypto adventures with you all. Until next time, take care and stay curious.
All right, guys, if you didn't do it yet, so you can visit inandoutcrypto.com. You got a lot of excellent, beautiful apparel you can choose from. You have the Bitcoin, XRP, Cardano, and much, much more. Premium apparel, embroidered stuff, all stuff that we've been working so hard for. You go also, if you want to listen to it, you can go here on the blog tab, and you do have access to the podcast instead if you want to just listen on the go. If you go on the tools, you get some games you can play online. It just work for now in the PC. But you can have like a XRP shooter game. It's free. Just have fun with it. And visit inandoutcrypto.com. If you go again, use the QR code that is right here on the screen. It's going to bring you directly to the website. And if you apply the high to high 15 all capital letter at the checkout, you get 15% discount. Okay, so the kind of holiday season is around the corner. You definitely want to get something for your loved one. You can get some potential idea there. So thank you very much, and let's see what this week is gonna bring out. So who knows? What is this major announcement? Everything is boiling, it's cooking. XRP is right there. The recipe, the soup. Just need maybe a little salt, a little pepper, but we're almost ready to get the pasta in and get the sauce ready for this fantastic meal. Maybe you're gonna have the best Thanksgiving dinner ever this year. Who knows? I think it will. All right, thank you guys, and until next time, ciao tutti!